Detecting talk of the day, August the 18th, 6:04 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. This won't be a very long detecting talk of the day video. You know, me and Calabash were talking here day before yesterday, I guess it was. And, we talk about metal detectors and sort of some of our conversations sort of turn into think tanks, if you know what I'm talking about. And he did a live stream Friday night, and Rattlehead came in there, made a comment about this machine right here, the Manicore, that he would like to see more slots or more ways to offer him discrimination where he could slide around and depending on where he's at, change it on the fly, so to speak. This machine's not too good in that department. Alright, so I'm gonna lay this old Manicore down and talk a little bit more about not just the Manicore, but the manufacturers out there. I'm going to bounce a few things off here, throw a few things out. We've not seen this with any metal detector, have we? What I'm going to say here. Now, I don't know how when they write the code for these machines, if this could even be done or not. But if it could, it might be something worthwhile for them to do, or at least one company. So these machines, we'll just use the Manicore as an example, but this would apply to any machine. The only machine that's been made so far, from what I can tell, and I've not used every machine, but the Deus 2 allows you to basically copy a program, copy a mode, and then with settings that you like, and save it. And then it becomes part of your program menu when you scroll through the detector, which is not bad, and it does work. But I wonder if companies, can they do this? Can they get their code writers when they're building these machines? So you go ahead, just like the Manicore, the stock settings, it would have the current modes that it has. But could you make the machine where you could go in there and, we'll say, hide a mode? And where am I going with this? Let's say you're predominantly a beach hunter. Well, you don't ever go prospect, so you don't need that stuff on your machine, right? Where you could hide it. And at the same time, if you wanted to, you could add, for example, a beach low conductors where you could fill a slot that you deleted, and you didn't delete it, you just hid it. Let's say you want to hide the gill prospecting mode on the Manicore and have the machine where you could add an extra beach program, an extra beach low conductors, and it would actually come up as beach low conductors 2. You see where I'm going with this? You see, I don't salt beach hunt, so I don't need the beach programs on my machine per se. So I wonder if I could go in there and say, okay, hide this, hide all the beach programs. And that way, when I go to transitioning through the machine, they're not even there. They're removed when I transition from program to program. And I could even give me the option where it's like, oh, okay, I want to have 3 all-terrain high conductor. I want to have 3 all-terrain high conductor programs on my machine. And in doing so, I can set each one up different, and they would be numbered. They would come up, okay, the original would be whatever. The first one I add would be alternating high conductors 1, alternating high conductors 2, or whatever. So the machine would be, by doing this, would be more user-friendly to each individual. And of course, yeah, you would have the restore or reset function, which would bring the machine back to its original configuration where it would have all of the modes. You see where I'm going with this? So when I go to navigate a machine and I turn it on or whatever, it's going to have at my fingertips what I normally use. Now, if you didn't live near a salt beach, like Rattlehead, I don't think lives near a salt beach. So he's out in the woods in northwest Georgia, and he decides to go on a vacation. Well, he can go in there and go get his beach programs and put in there. And then when he goes to the beach, he can use them. When he gets done, he wants to get rid of them, we'll say he can hide them. Okay, but in doing what I'm saying, this would satisfy the need for multiple discrimination. You know, the same program per se, the same mode with multiple settings allowed, and the programs would line up to one another. Which means, if you wanted to copy, we'll use the word copy, where you could bring 3 alternating high conductor programs into your machine. You could set them each one up different to your desires, and then they're back to back to back in the menu system. So you can change on the fly and everything is right there. And you could do the same with any other mode. You could have multiple. If you were a Go prospector predominantly, you could have multiple of that program with some different settings, different discrimination, different whatever. We've not seen this done by a manufacturer, have we? Now, is it possible to do? It seems like it should be. The flagship detector that any manufacturer wants to come out with, XP, MindLab, Nocta, Garrett, you should give this some thought. Okay? Because nobody's done it. Now, I can't quite figure out. The closest thing would be is the XP-2, but the programs, you don't get to hide programs on that machine. See? Yeah, they're still in the machine. You're not getting rid of them. You're just hiding them. Because you don't use them and you don't have a need for them. But they're at your fingertips. Well, not necessarily at your fingertips. I guess you could call it that. But you can always bring them back by either giving an unhide command somewhere in the menu, for your different programs that you've hit, or a factory reset, whatever. It's just something, it sort of, Calabash got me to thinking about this when we were talking. And I remember what Rattlehead said in that live stream, And, just truth be told, sometimes the only way you can go forward is to see something that maybe looks like it's backwards. You know what I'm saying? You see a problem, or you see something that's like, this is not suiting me. And that sparks a little thinking, But I think it's a good idea, and it don't seem like it would be that hard to do. Now, I mean, maybe it is complicated for a code writer to do this, but I don't see why. I mean, the machine, you turn that machine, that manicore off, and you turn it back on, it comes on in the program that was last used and all the settings are intact. Well, anyway, that's going to conclude the detecting talk of the day. I hope everybody has a nice day.